Hey guys, it's Dylan with Backyard Built RC, and we'll be discussing the 4 things I dislike about the new FMS FCX 24. Let's dive right in. What color did you guys get? Drop a comment below. Tell me what you like and dislike about it. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback and what are some weak points of this vehicle. Also, like and subscribe if this is the type of content you're into. And just look at this thing. It looks amazing. It looks very, very beautiful. Love the look of it. And we have it in our scale garage today. So we are building the scale garage, and I'm making a different video on that. But I mean, just look how amazing this thing looks next to the Broncos. We also have our Chevy Cyclone back here, which we are still working on. Things facing off with 2 Broncos right now. That's a crazy picture. As we're taking a look at this chassis, I do love the chassis. I like the fact that it is a unibody chassis. It does make it lighter and stronger at the same time. And it's cheaper for the manufacturer to produce the links and the chassis from the same type of material, which brings the cost down on the vehicle. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this chassis is the fact that there is not enough mount locations for the suspension. We're kind of stuck with one location, and I've seen other people mount their coilovers or suspensions in this location right here and in this location as well. Once you start drilling holes all over this chassis, it's gonna weaken the chassis, and that's one of my biggest gripes about this chassis. Other than that, I am a fan of unibody chassis cars due to the extra strength and the ease of it just being one piece versus multiple pieces. Now we're gonna get into the next thing I dislike about this Power Wagon, and it's the mounting location of the body mount. This is just a bad design. It's a good idea, but bad design. So as we look at the body clips, you can see here how it is. Now, these clips need to be pushed out towards the wheel, and these back clips need to be pushed in towards the frame. And that leaves the body in an awkward situation when you're pulling the front clips out and then you're pushing the rear clips in. If you're gonna make a clip, you should make all the clips work in the same direction. That way it's easier to take it off, not necessarily work against itself. The team at FMS stated that this body can be pulled off within about 5 seconds. And the hardest thing is to get that rear off, just because it's in such of a tight location down there. It's hard to get your fingers in there. Look at my thumbs, they're already bigger than the hole. So, I mean, it can be done, but it's just very difficult and it's a headache. So we're gonna go ahead and try to see how long it takes us to get this body off. So this isn't my first time taking this body off. I've had experience before, since I've had to remove this cab a few times. So this is honestly the fastest I've done this so far. And I've taken this cab off over 12 times. So this is my fastest right here, guys. So that took an overall 18 seconds, which isn't bad. Now, it's even harder to get this cab placed back on due to the tight location near the motor section. Now we're just gonna go ahead and get this cab reseated on the chassis, guys. It almost takes just as long, sometimes even longer, placing it back on than it does taking it off. As you can see, there's a mess of wiring. It's almost like they pulled it off their 1/18 scale and just stuck it on this shorter chassis so the wiring gets in the way. The frame is wobbly, and at times it feels like when I'm pressing it onto the frame, it feels like I'm just gonna snap the frame at times. And this is the hard part, trying to get these rear to mount while sitting on wires. There is an audible click when it goes in a location. and you want to pull back out like I just did. That way you can make sure it's seated. Having to do this makes it taskful and a burden at times when you're out just wanting to have fun. The third thing I dislike about the FCX 24 is going to be how the battery mounts to the vehicle. Right here, we have the battery tray that sits in between the electronic speed control and the transmission servo. Some companies will use a Velcro or some type of bracket to hold the battery in. With this battery, it just pretty much gets strapped in by a rubber band, and you can see the mess of wiring right here. It doesn't let the battery sit flat, and as we flip the battery over, it still doesn't sit flat up inside of there, and it actually pokes off the vehicle right here. So what we have to do is sit it on top of the wires right there, and the supplied rubber band will go up under this attachment point on the side of the frame rail of the chassis. After you attach it there, you want to clear all the wiring, and you want to, I guess, twist the rubber band like an X pattern and loop it onto the other hook on the opposite side of the frame rail. Now that we have it hooked in right there on the frame rail, you can see it's not over the battery proper. So what we have to do is pull it down to the side and make it even over the battery. It does hold it in place very well. I'm just not a fan of this rubber band situation. Rubber bands usually get dry, brittle, crack when they're weathered, and just simply when they're old. But it does do a good job securing the battery in location. Again, another cheap, effective way to build an RC car. This car does need some serious cable management. Maybe we'll do it later. It doesn't bother me too much. So the last thing I hate about this vehicle is, and it's not anything that I hate because a lot of other crawlers don't come with it either, but I just dislike the fact that it was advertised and it did not come with it. So is a 4-link suspension, as you can see down here. That is a 3-link suspension down there. It's not a true 4, and as you can see, it comes to a Y, which also is a 3-link. There is a few people right now who are making 4-link kits for this vehicle, but as you can see, it comes factory with a 3-link. So those are the 4 things I dislike about the FMS FCX 24. There's just too much greatness involved in this video. I'm not trying to bash the vehicle. I actually love this vehicle, and I tried to make it a 5 things I dislike, but again, there's just so much I love about it. And what do you expect for the price? It's a very, very awesome, capable rig out the box. Please like, comment, follow, subscribe. See you guys later, and thanks for joining in.